So, is there anything else you wanted to ask about or you wanted help with while we're still here?
I don't, I don't really know. I mean, I don't know, maybe a skill choice, possibly. And, because, I mean, I don't necessarily want to have a team that's predictable, but at the same time, I want to have a team that's functional.
Yeah, like, I mean, a lot of your early skill ups are going to go straight towards getting block on your pieces. Just because, I mean, block's that good.
And you do nothing well if not punch things.
Yeah.
That's sort of your MO as Chaos. Like, I get where you're coming at with you don't want to be predictable, but at some point there's only so much breadth within any team. Like, there's no super secret strategy. None of the teams have a like the super secret go-to plan that the black playbook that no one's ever seen before. That they can come out and do some crazy shit. That isn't obvious by the skills. So just make those Chaos Warriors bashy, give them block, give them tackle, give them mighty blow, give them the claw on doubles, they get on regulars.
Like, if you want to do fun stuff, which is mostly usually playing with mutations, um, claw on one or two pieces is never bad. Especially like one guy who's your dedicated blitzer. And if he is, then other stuff like tackle to make the claw stick is really nice. One ball carrying guy with extra arms is helpful. Maybe eventually extra heads on him, but realistically, I don't know if I would do that.
You can make a pseudo gutter runner.
You could
Like
make a fakey gutter runner.
Arms. Yeah, extra arms, big hand, and two heads.
Yeah.
I mean, he won't be as fast, but damn, he'll be good at getting that ball.
Yeah. Big hand, of course.
Chaos do have a lot of breadth for a lot of fun because of the easy mutation access.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't see the Chaos Warriors as being anything but bashy kill pieces. Like,
Yeah.
there's no other reason to do them as anything but the Beastmen. They can
The
pretty
Beastmen
much
are
be
really
anything.
flexible. Um, did anyone else in chat have any questions? I know it's been moving slowly, and I know that's probably in large part because of the ridiculous technical issues I've been having. Like, we knew that Undead would kind of be a rough matchup just because if, like, I beat you in a lot of different ways, and if I can make the advantage felt, it'll be really horrible. Like, when I play my orc team, it's the same kind of thing. The undead are really horrible if I let them bring all their strengths to bear. It's kind of the same difficulty anyone has playing against lizardmen, really. Where they've got a bunch of strength pieces that cannot do anything with the ball. And then they've got a bunch of ball handlers that are fast and stunty and can't punch anything. And if they can make the individual strengths of their pieces felt, it just feels like you cannot do anything to them. It feels like it's a team full of strength 4-8 movement pieces.
The difference with lizards being that no player is going to try and punch with skinks or ball handle with Saurus and think it's a good idea. An undead player will occasionally get confused and use ghouls as blitzers.
Yeah.
Or skeletons as ball handlers or something like that. Like, not as a go-to move, but, their roles are less clearly defined. Or less extreme, I should say. There is, at a pinch, other players can do other things on an undead or a human team with those positionals, but lizards are just, they're a really extreme case of specialization. With ridiculous.
Well, the funny part is, though, is I actually have a lot more difficulty playing Lizardmen than I do Chaos, which I know is hard to believe because
no, it's not. Like I said, you have to be able to get your strength pieces and your movement pieces in all the right places to make your advantages felt. If you don't, then you're a bunch of two-strength guys and a bunch of guys who can't handle the ball. So it definitely, I mean, I don't recommend Lizards as the best starting team or anything like that. They're a pretty solid team, but it takes a little bit of skill to make sure you actually have the pieces in the right places, that you aren't leaving your skinks just standing around where the other guy can pound on them. Because that's how you beat Lizards, is you play a game of pound the skink.
And as a newer player as well, it will also teach you bad habits once you get past that initial positioning of your skinks to protect them, and that's pretty much the only skill you learn. You get into a really bad habit of worrying about positioning outside of that, like worrying about where pieces have to stand to be able to cover things, because you've just got that whole pitch covered essentially by virtue of the fact that your slowest piece is MA6. With, you know, a heap of MA8 guys as well, and there's enough of them that they can pack maul anyone that breaks through.
Yeah, and playing as Lizards, you kind of don't respect the whole getting assists and not making ridiculous dodges, all that kind of stuff.
Yep, they pretty much teach you every bad habit in the game. Ignoring movement, ignoring positioning for blocks, and when and what is a intelligent time to dodge. Every dodge is good with a skink.
Well, anything else you wanted to do other than that?
You know, I can't think of any specific questions. I mean, I think it's just finding the time to actually play games, just so I can get my positioning a little bit better.
Yeah, and it will come with time, and like we said, Chaos is a real slow starter. It's not the easiest team to start with. Just having no skills on any of your guys can give you a lot of problems.
I guess I kind of had stars in my eyes for having mutation access, though.
Oh, everyone does. Everybody loves Chaos. I mean, I've got a Chaos team too, and like I can show them they leveled up nicely, but those first few games were so ugly and the team was awful.
So does that make them a horrible league team in general?
They're great in long leagues. Like, I was really surprised only one person played Chaos in the Moo League, which is like 15 games long. That's the one league where I was sure we would have tons and tons of Chaos players. We did have a couple of Nurgle, which are kind of like Chaos's slightly crummier brother. Yeah.
Budget Chaos. Except they're not budget because they're expensive.
Yeah, it's a little different, but they're kind of similar. But I mean, here's my stupid Chaos team, which is like, I've got a Tentacles Minotaur because that's an awesome first skill. Two of my Chaos Warriors rolled block doubles in their first skill up, so they got dodge.
Nice.
Like, the Chaos Warriors are leveling up really slowly on this team, and that's another thing you have to watch out for. While you're low level and it's nice and easy, do consider getting level ups on the Chaos Warriors if the situation presents itself. Make a Chaos Warrior a ball carrier or hand it off to him and let him score it, because as you level up more and more, it's going to get harder and harder for the Chaos Warriors to score when you actually need the ridiculous skills to get the ball through.
No, I think what's been happening with my Demo Bowl team is all my experience has been pretty much leveled out across my entire team, and I haven't gotten any skills yet. And I think that's been hurting me a lot.
That's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
It sometimes feels like it is. Like, I mean, my Orc team would probably be a good example of that last Demo Bowl season. I think I was going into week 6 and I had 1 level, and that guy 6. But
Like-
everyone was like 1 or 2 SPP away from a level, and then the next game or two, they just exploded, and suddenly everyone was level 2.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, looking at your team, you've got 4 guys at 5 SPP right now. You're in your demo bowl team, and 1 guy at 4. You can very easily have a good game where you get 3 or 4 levels up.
To be fair, one of those guys has a niggle though.
It's not the end of the world.
Yeah, niggles aren't a big deal on Chaos teams.
A lot of people worry a little bit too much about niggling injuries. They have these kind of overblown nightmares of this niggle guy living and building up 5 skills and then dying because of his niggling injury and stuff like that, but it's really not that big of an issue. In fact, a lot of times when I get the niggle, I'm like, oh good, I got an injury I don't care about, instead of something that actually would have killed the guy, like a minus strength or something.
Yeah, I mean, if you're worried about getting that guy getting 5 level ups and then dying because of the niggle, was the niggle really the problem if he survived to get 5 level ups?
Right.
Like, it's not something you need to worry about, especially on decent armored, decent strength players who are probably going to get defensive skills anyway. Like, a gutter runner or a skink or something with a niggle is probably in trouble because they're going to be hit over and over again by kill pieces with tackle through the course of a league. They're going to be hunted, and they've got low armor and they've got low strength, and they will be going down. A Minotaur or a Black Orc or any of those big tanky pieces with a niggle, it's like, he went down once, that was unlikely. He got injured, that was even less likely.
Yeah,
The
that's
chance of him going down again.
that's my Kemri team. I've got the where's my niggle Tomb Guardian? Yeah, there he is, the Tomb Guardian that rolled block on his first skill up, so we got doubles, and then he got a smash knee. It's like, I don't care. So he's got a stupid niggle, whatever.
I'm strength 5, AV 9. I give 0 fucks about
Yeah,
being
pretty much. My Chaos team actually has the kind of situation I'm sure a lot of people worry about. Let me load it up, my ridiculous niggle guy. Yeah, here's my niggle guy on my Chaos team who's the Beast Man with +1 agility, extra arms, and dodge. And he's got a niggle. And I don't care. I'm going to keep playing the hell out of this +1 agility, extra arms, dodge guy. And that's pretty sweet. I mean, he's going to die, but then again, I assume that just about everyone I play is going to die. It's Blood Bowl.
He's going to die not because of the niggle, but because he's a serious ball carrying threat. He's
Oh,
going
yeah.
to get hit over and over and over again. The +1 to injury isn't going to be what kills him.
The fact that he was already a ridiculous piece is what's going to kill him.
Yep. In fact, I'm willing to bet the reason he got the niggle in the first place
Yeah, it was because he was doing
being
ridiculous
punished
shit.
because of his skills. So there you
That's
go, folks.
true.
Lesson learned. If you don't want niggles, don't make good pieces.
Speaking of which, let's look at Yura's team in the Invitational.
Those aren't good pieces. Those are sickening pieces. Those are
Look at
crimes
this.
against
If you
nature.
don't want your gutter runner killed, don't give him +1 movement, sprint, sure feet, leap, and catch.
No, I think the
Wow.
other one's the one that needs to die.
The other one is the one that needs to die. This is the +1 agility, +1 strength, leap, block, pass, block, gutter runner. Yeah, his team is stupid.
That team is a crime against humanity and nature and everything else.
But like pieces like this just have a habit of dying once they get up to this many SPP because they're so useful, you kill them. This is also the team with the Mighty Blow, Claw, Piling On, Jump Up, Storm Vermin. Which is the ultimate fuck you piece.
I don't want to hit that piece. I'm scared of that piece. All it needs now is Frenzy, and it's a sexier Norse Berserker.
Yeah. Nothing says fuck you like Mighty Blow, Piling On, Claw, Jump Up.
Frenzy Tackle?
It's the jump up that makes it, like, even worse. It's like, yeah, I'm totally gonna blitz you every turn and headhunt you and kill you.
Yeah, it's like, even if you do punch me, I'm still gonna punch you back.
Yeah, this team's ridiculous. I played them with my ogres and brought their TV down a little bit so other people could play against them. But
Hey, a wild Omar appears.
yeah, we got Omar in here. We've got Habble's been here.
Habble trying to make me angry and ranty, mentioning goblins and orc teams.
What about goblin and orc teams?
Well, goblins being on orc teams, as opposed to actual orc teams.
Oh, okay.
Which is wrong.
It's a thing Habble does. He likes to call it poking the bear.
Poking the bear?
Yeah.
It's like those messing with Sasquatch ads.
While the bear's hibernating, you get a stick and run into its cave and keep poking it, just to see how long it takes it to wake up. Because he knows if he keeps doing it, eventually I'll start ranting about how fucking stupid it is to have goblins on an orc team, or any other number of topics that he likes to taunt me with. And yes, he does occasionally confuse me by being nice and talking sense.
I probably shouldn't mention at this point that I have goblins on my orc team then, huh?
Probably not. Probably not. I could explain at great length as to why it's a bad move, but I think there's probably enough VODs of me ranting uncontrollably and at great length about it that it doesn't need to be gone into again.
Just load a random video on my channel. There's a 50-50 shot. You'll hear him complaining about it.
Oh boy.
But yeah, that's about it. But if you want more games at some point, is the VOD of this going up? There's a good chance it's not, because the the stream crashed like 4 or 5 times. So I would have to splice it together, and there would be a bunch of jumps where just stuff gets skipped. Yeah, I know you were playing a game during it. I mean, and maybe Twitch will put up all the videos, maybe it won't. I mean, I'll see, but...
We can always say this was the practice training match, and the real training match actually happens later.
They can do that too. I mean, like, if there's enough interest, and it seems like there is, then I will keep doing these. But since I've got a handful of people in the channel captive and listening, let me go ahead and say, if you want to be part of this stream and you want to be part of a class and be taught, the best way to do this is to hang out in the Steam chat and poke me and say, hey, could you do one of those teaching streams with me? Because it's not a scheduled thing. I just do it when I don't have other games to play. So just say, hey, I want to learn. And I'll say, okay, let me see if there are people on who want to do it.
Here's a question for you though, Fake. Would you mind having 2 other people doing the match instead of you? So I could maybe come back the next time versus whoever wants to do it again next time?
So you play against another person and like the 2 of you play while we give instructions?
Yeah.
We could try it. Like, I find it a little better when one of the players playing is pretty experienced. But, I mean, I don't know how it would work, honestly.
I'm trying to, because I've found that when you've got 2 inexperienced players, you can get like, especially if you've got like two opposing sort of strategies coming in there, like you've got say elves v dwarves, just as a grab bag. You're discussing too many different ideas, like you're jumping back and forth between what the elves generally want to do and what the dwarves generally want to do, rather than just like in this case where we were saying, hey, Fake's gonna want to try and get his ghoul through there and get as many pieces as possible, and that's it. He knows what he's doing otherwise. And then we can spend both his turn and your turn discussing what it is you want to be looking at, both in offense and defense. Like it's easier to sort of stay on topic on one team and to come at it from all aspects. If you've got two different teams, it's you start to sort of get that overlap there.
Fair enough.
Like, I mean, we can also play more later, and I can just play teams that I don't think are going to give you as rough of a time. Like, Undead against your Chaos is probably one of the worst case scenarios for a low level Chaos team, but I mean, there's teams that you'll eat up too.
When I
Now,
stop
would
being
things
lazy,
have been different if I had a Minotaur?
I doubt it.
that would depend on the Minotaur and how many ones you wanted to roll.
Yeah. It depends on if the Minotaur's well behaved to a degree.
And there's no, I mean, there is skill involved in managing a big guy, but it's a whole different facet of play that's not necessarily unique to Chaos, but each big guy requires different babysitting.
Yeah, you kind of have to learn how to handle your big guy, and like how a wild animal big guy differs from a really stupid big guy, and how you move them and do their stuff, and sometimes when it's important to just leave them sitting there doing nothing because you just don't want them to really stupid and lose their tackle zones and screw everything up. I mean, there's a lot of things you have to learn with big guys, I would say.
Okay, well, I was gonna say, like, another reason I chose the Chaos team is because I only have two different types of, or three different types of characters to choose from. I don't have all these positionals that I have to worry about, and I found that, like, with the Necro team that I have, I get all tied up in knots just trying to position everybody in their ideal places. I can't get things straightened out.
It's I mean, there's other teams that are good for that kind of thing that aren't like just two positionals, so you don't have to worry about it. Like I always recommend stuff like orcs because they're good, they're solid, they're going to be slower. They may not be the kind of gameplay you're interested in, but they've got a bunch of positionals, but they do what you think they're going to do. I mean, your slow 4 strength black orcs are going to be slow and bashy, and your blitzers are going to blitz, and your throwers are going to ball carry and throw if you're really desperate. But that may not appeal to you.
Throwers. They're more like runners, but they don't run either.
It's like a dark elf
so
runner,
they're
basically.
They're like joggers, really. They're
Yeah.
not so much runners as joggers.
It's a jogger.
Or trotters. I think the one thing though that will maybe give you, I mean, it's a double-edged sword, like the fact that you don't have all these positionals to worry about. It means that pretty much anyone you can grab at the time will do the job as well as someone else until you start developing players. But
Yeah.
the opposite of that is if you look at someone like, say, a human team where everyone is pretty much labeled by their job,
Then you have to make sure, like, well, I've only got these 2 blitzers, so I have to make sure I'm putting them in the right positions and so on.
that is the case, but at the same time, to pay for that, for everyone being pigeonholed, they're better at their job straight out of the box, and in general terms, like throughout their development, they're always going to be that one skill or that one stat point ahead. Which leads to what you saw in that game there, where Fake's mummies did their job well, they outstrengthed you. The ghouls outsped you. The whites leveraged their block and kept whacking you. When everyone has a position and a specialization, you can overcome generalist teams. and it's also less confusing for new players to know that everyone's going to do their job. Like, you're under no illusions that, on a human team, the thrower's job is to handle the ball with sure hands and pass and throw to the catcher. That the ogre's job is to punch things. That the blitzer's job is to basically do all the heavy lifting in and around the scrum.
Right. And on Chaos, it's just about everyone can do just about every job, just not particularly well. So you can pick up the ball with... You can literally pick up the ball and have a ball carrier with any of your pieces other than the Minotaur. They're all agility 3. They can all do it. It's just... None of them are so good at it that you can overcome other stuff. Like, if I'm playing a team like a orc and I have a thrower that's got sure hands and pass on him, then I'm going to have an easy time picking up the ball. I'll have an easier time passing if I need to. And you're going to get in the same situations that the orcs are, where you might say, well, gee, I really, really need to pick up this ball now, or I really, really need this pass to work. And starting off, nobody has those skills. And later, even if your team develops, you're going to have to build up individual guys to do these different jobs. So, like, you're going to want to have one beast man that is a, maybe sure hands or extra arms, big hand or something like that, and he is the guy that picks up the ball. And then you'll kind of need to learn what the other teams are already getting started doing, which is got to make sure the good blitzer's in the right place to blitz, and the good ball handler's in the right place to pick up the ball, and the strength guys are punching and not getting tied up, and so on and so forth. I don't know if we're getting too high level here, but there's certain advantages and disadvantages to having the unspecialized players that you specialize yourself later on. Or yeah, you could go with everyone gets claw piling on Mighty Blow and then nobody plays you.
Yeah, that's you're quite welcome to do that in especially in the Mr. Havoc Invitational. By all means, go ahead and do that. Just don't be surprised that once that second or third claw pommer hits the pitch, you suddenly find you never get another match, because all the matches in Mr. Havoc Invitational are made through challenges. So
pretty much
people are going to be vetting their opponents. I personally won't be playing you.
But you'll still play against Yura and his team with the one claw piling on Mighty Blow jump up guy, right?
Oh yeah, no, of course, no. The kill pieces aren't my complaint. A kill team is.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, definitely.
I believe that kill
pieces there is
have their place on teams.
Yeah, there's a difference between the single guy who's awesome at blitzing and taking people out, and I don't give a fuck that we're playing Blood Bowl. I just want to kill pieces. I just want to wreck people's teams and laugh and then post them a UMAD image macro.
Yep, that is entirely different. There's a league called Org, you might have heard of it. Go there if you want to make a kill team.
Yeah. Tentacles on everyone. Yeah, there's a bunch of bad mutations you can put on everybody. Even on a team like Chaos, where your best piece is 4 strength, Tentacles is kind of meh.
Yeah, actually, they're not scary enough.
Yeah, maybe if he rolled strength on his first level up or something like that, you can turn him into a Tentacles piece.
Or you rolled strength up on your Beast of Nurgle, for instance, in his first ever match. You could do that.
Yeah.
I don't know anyone that'd be lucky enough to do that.
I don't know anyone that would do that.
I don't think I've ever seen that happen before.
I don't think that happens. Those kind of things just don't happen in Blood Bowl.
Not at all.
If you're assigning a ball, like through one of those kickoff events, can you actually give it to the Beast of Nurgle? Because I know he has no hands.
Yeah. Oh, he doesn't have no hands.
No. Yeah, he can ball handle.
Oh, he doesn't?
No, he can ball handle. I don't think he'd want to, but he can ball handle. If you do have a
also
piece with
also
no
need-
hands, like
There you go.
if you have a no hands piece like a death roller or something, you cannot give them the ball with those events.
Oh, okay.
But the Beast of Nurgle has hands, technically. Yeah, he uses his tongue, realistically.
Or the tentacles, because he's not busy using them to hold on to other people. But realistically, on your Chaos team, you ever get a touchback, it goes to the Chaos Warrior.
Yeah. Just give it to a Chaos Warrior and he's your ball carrier. Movement 5 ball carrier is not the end of the world.
Especially when he's Strength 4 AG3 and
Yeah.
he's standing in the middle of a bunch of Strength 4 players.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, anything else? People in chat? Slightquills?
I'm thinking.
Okay. I mean, if you just want to ask questions later, you can. It's not like we're saying ask questions now, and once I shut off the stream, we're not going to help you anymore. But obviously,
Oh, okay.
Never hold your peace. Pretty much, that's it. Right, you ask now or you don't ask at all.
yeah, like, I'll try and piece it together and put it on YouTube, but it's going to be really, really obnoxious because, like I said, the stream died like 4 or 5 times, and there's just going to be gaps in the middle. Who was the best big guy? You can go to my stream. I've already got an FAQ for that.
Didn't
I
somebody
think
mention
Spider's
the
taking piss
corn team?
asking that.
Like, we've had the debate over and over again, and there's a million ways of answering it, and there's no single right answer, But since everybody likes to ask it, and sometimes, like Spider, they're asking it to troll me, I just put an FAQ at the bottom of my stream page with the kinds of questions that we get a lot, like, best big guy, what's a good team to start with, what skill ups should I take, so on and so forth.
I think Spider may have subscribed to the Habel school of thought. The shit stirring the pot.
Oh, yeah, he's trying to troll me. Is Walrus the biggest jerk in demo? Yes.
But not for his on-pitch actions.
Yeah.
All round, Walrus is actually a pretty clean player.
Yeah. Like, if Walrus gets in a bad mood, he will actually, throw out the dumb fouls, but in general, he actually usually fouls in situations where it's smart to, and that's about it.
He
But
just
yeah.
likes to talk it up.
Outside of Demo Bowl, he is absolutely the biggest jerk. Outside of Blood Bowl.
Is that question going in the fact?
If people ask it enough times.
There are some there are some contenders though. I will say that both in game and out of game, there are definitely some that.
What do you think is the best non-big guy in the game? War Dancer, next question.
Alfwana, next question.
Yeah.
I'm throwing it out there. He just, for his job, he does it too well.
Yeah, he does it real well. There's a few, like, single pieces that are completely ridiculous.
That make playing the team
Yeah.
worth it.
Pro Elf Catchers, War Dancers, the Ulfwerners, Gutter Runners. Gutter Runners are pretty much the reason to play that team.
Yeah, I mean, Saurus, even though there's so many of them, like, could you see lizards working any other way? Like, I know that's their whole
Right.
thing, but really.
Yeah, it's kind of hard when you get to lizards and it's like, well, you got 2 pieces, you'd better buy both of them.
Or you could do Amps. I'm sure it was Amp that done the 16 skink strat.
I don't know why you would do that.
For trolls. Why else? The same reason you've got an all-snotling team.
I don't have an all-snotling team.
No, that's Panda. Never mind.
It sounds like something
Why did
Panda
I
would
get
do.
you- Why did I get you and Panda confused?
I don't
They're
know.
nothing alike.
I can say I'm the real Panda and get him upset.
That works.
Chaos Warriors are good. but I don't think they're in the running for best non-big guys. Vampires, if they only didn't have that stupid bloodlust problem.
Oh, vampires would be hands down like the best
Oh yeah,
non-big guy if they didn't have bloodlust. But
4 strength, 4
even those
agility out of the
big-
box. Even with that, with the bloodlust, they're good.
with general strength and agility access on normals,
Yeah.
like that's disgusting. And on any other team, it would be broken as shit.
Any other questions, especially ones that aren't trying to troll? Witch Elves in the list of best non-big guys? I would actually disagree with that because, like, a lot of the other pieces on that team also really carry their weight. I don't like the Witch Elves are nice, but having all those nice high movement agility blitzers is really great.
They're also strength 3 frenziers with no block to begin with.
Worst team
On a
in
team
Blood
that
Bowl.
has no guard.
Oh, here's a bunch of good questions. Worst team in Blood Bowl. Like
How
worst.
got it.
Yeah, worst team that's trying to masquerade as a legitimate team is Khorne for sure. Once you start throwing in the stuff that isn't made to win, like halflings and goblins, maybe still Khorne. It's a really bad team. Who's your favorite star player? I don't know.
Yeah, I've never played around a whole lot with them.
There's a bunch of star players you can't get in the game, which would be really awesome. I would like it if my Khemri team could do hack and slash. The Skaven with the ball and chain, skitter stab stab.
There are a lot of really cool ones, but they don't really make an appearance in the tabletop one either.
Yeah.
Not horribly, because a lot of tabletop pickup games are played at like X, Y, or Z TV.
Yeah.
And you just flat out make the team up as you want and just out. So you get, I mean, gentleman's agreement usually, one doubles and one stat up per player, or at least one stat up per player. Not necessarily doubles. If you want to blow a heap of TV on doubles, sure.
Sidewinder's a pretty good all-around star player, and a lot of teams can take him.
Sidewinders is cool.
Morgenthorg, of course, but that's kind of cheating.
Yeah, he's. I mean, there's a reason he's the headline star player.
Yeah.
Because he is the best. And yes, star players do ignore the rules for what you can and can't have access to. So the
Yeah.
fact that
I guess another question I would have would be like, given what I've told you and your experience with me in the game, do you think that I should keep trying Chaos, or that I should go back to one of those baseline newbie teams like Orc?
Like, any playing the game is going to help you for the most part. As long as you're not, like we said, playing one of these teams that kind of gets you into really bad habits, like lizards can get you in some trouble just because you don't have to worry about assists because everyone's 4 strength. You don't have to worry about dodging into tackle zones because everyone's stunty. As long as you're not playing that, any kind of playing will help you. Now, in addition to having Chaos, I would say that you might enjoy having a team that comes with skills out of the box, because you really, like, playing Chaos, you'll really kind of appreciate how great it is to start with, like, 2 blitzers that have block and some maybe runners with dodge or something like that. Let alone playing a team like Orcs that gets 4 blitzers with block to start out with. I mean, holy cow.
you could take it to the other end, like I would recommend probably playing 2 different teams at once. Like whenever I start making a new team, I'll usually make 2. Usually at opposite ends of the spectrum. So you're gonna was probably, I suppose, at least a short passy game with some skills. So you might consider Dark Elves. You might consider I mean, High Elves are probably going a little bit too far the other way, but it's not horrible either. Like, so that you're still getting that.
There's a Strength 5 Vampire Star player with no Bloodlust?
Yeah, it's basically standard that any nega trait's removed on a star player.
That would be
With,
pretty ridiculous, yeah. That's a pretty good one.
but you look at, like, if you're playing, say, your High Elves and your Chaos at the same time, like, sort of in tandem, when you come up against them slow teams like Chaos with your High Elves, you already know what gives you trouble as a Chaos team or as a slow movement team, so you can practice basically against yourself in that respect. What hurts you, you go against it, or you do it yourself with the other team, and when someone stops it, you then see what you can try to stop it, and you basically learn through that. That's a good way to learn, especially if you wanted to, if you were looking to just learn a team, maybe spinning in Nag for 10, 12 games, and just alternate between the two as you go, and you could learn that way, rather than being subject to when or why you're getting MHI matches.
I don't know. I've been kind of leery of the general leagues because I think the first 6-7 teams that I faced were all dwarves.
Like, MHI, you can find matches fairly easily these days. It's not that difficult, especially during the hours when you're playing. It's usually you can find a match. I mean, Nag is fine if you just want to just grind out a bunch of matches, but like you said, in Nag you run into stuff like a lot of the same teams. You run into people that DC when you injure their player turn 1. A lot of stuff like that.
I didn't find low TV Nag to be too bad. Old's a whole different ball game. It's a slimy pit of scum, and should be avoided at all times. But
what's the difference between those two leagues anyway?
Ald is literally anything goes. Like, you can come in with higher level teams, and just about anything is okay. In Nag, they at the very least don't let you bring in teams you've leveled outside of Nag. So you can't arrange tournaments, assign yourself the winner of these tournaments over and over again, and give your players free level ups because you assigned them to win all of their games 8-0 and stuff like that. Like, there are literally teams that are just complete kill teams where they've done nothing but farm up a team in their own tournaments. Let me see if I can find a good one.
The team that's currently first in Ald is a good one.
The team that's first in Ald, Goblin team, let's see.
I don't know, in the Hall of Fame, rather. They're not actually...
Oh, in Hall of Fame?
First in, yeah, Hall of Fame.
Yeah, here's the guys with 1,517 star player points. Yeah, this is the particular lineup which I'm talking about. If you haven't seen this before, this is what you have looking forward to you in High TV Ald. Is Chaos 7 for obvious reasons. There's 7 players, they're all level 7, and literally every player is like this. They're all claw piling on Mighty Blow, Frenzy, Jump Up, whatever.
He also loses a point for being a fucktard because Chaos, the sacred number for Chaos is 8, so he should have taken 8 players. That's a fluff thing.
But yeah, these are the kind of teams you get. And of course he's got 77 million in the treasury because he won all his tournaments. He may as well give himself a lot of money too. But, like, none of these guys are actually there to score points. This team is literally in there to, like, kill the other guys. Yeah, 1 reroll. Who needs a reroll? That just raises your team value, and his team value is already high enough. He's cut everybody but 7 players. And with 7 players, he's at 1870. He can't afford crap like rerolls.
He goes to 2070 when he plays a match through loners.
Yeah.
And those loners
gone up against the kill team and just like iced a bunch of their players.
You You really can't.
Because you don't.
Like,
Even if you block one down or two down and you hurt them, they just DC. Straight up, you don't get to kill a kill team.
yeah.
I've iced players on a kill team with my Norse. I basically tried to fight the AV
Yeah.
7 ceiling by building a Norse kill team and taking them up against the high level shit, and it worked for a while. And yeah, I've come in like, with piling on Mighty Blow, Tackle Berserkers, and some nasty Offliners and whatnot, and just smacked around a few Chaos teams. But you usually only get 1 or 2 kills or injuries before they just DC as soon as it starts to turn against them.
I take it that guy's agility up is his ball handler.
Yeah, this guy actually has a ball handler, which is, I suppose, kind of novel for one of these kill teams. I mean, he actually has kickoff return, so technically he wants to score points, I suppose. But everyone else on his team's a kill piece. And yeah, Cyanide doesn't have any issues with this. Old World is pretty much, it's the Wild West. Anything goes. And that's the reason people don't really play in Old World unless they're like, hey, let me get my friend in the game and let's just throw teams in Old and play against each other real quick. And this is also why we let people get their teams out of Ald into the Mr. Hadwick Invitational, unless you're playing a team like one of those I just showed you.
I suppose coming over to NAG, it's fresh teams only, and there are no challenges either. You can't. You don't even have to make yourself a tournament technically to farm the shit out of players. You can do it much slower by challenging your alternate account.
Like if we look at this team that's number 1 in Ald, or this one in this list, like you can see he's literally played private leagues over and over and over and over again. It's nothing but private leagues. And it's like the same 2 or 3 people over and over again. And he literally just drew or won these matches over and over again with a lot of abandons and crap and assigning himself the winner. And then he goes into these games and actually plays with his kill team, where he essentially got to just pencil in whatever skills he wanted on every player. And that's the problem with high-level Ald, is that's basically what you start running into. And you'll notice over and over again I'm selecting random teams on the Hall of Fame list, and funny thing, they're all coming up as these 6, 7, 8-man Chaos teams. And that's why we don't play here.
Yeah, and for the same thing, you'll end up in NAG, like, it's the same sort of problem. It doesn't come about the same way, but with high armor kill teams, they're the only ones that really survive to get to the top of NAG, just because at some point people go, fuck it, kill team, and just disconnect, and they start getting walkovers fairly regularly.
Was that computer blue? I have no idea what you're talking about. Probably something in the match record, and I don't know who I was looking at. But yeah, this is why we don't recommend Ald. Instead, we recommend NAG if you're going to do these kinds of things. Because you can't bring in the team that you did in private leagues, assigning yourself the winner over and over again.
And up to about 1400 in NAG, generally get a fairly good mix of teams, depending on the time of day you play. And as well, once again, your team is quite capable, is more than allowed to come over to the MHI after a few games in NAG.
See here, you'll notice in NAG, this really high-level guy who's trying to get his team to be essentially a claw piling on Mighty Blow on everything. But as you can see, it's not going incredibly well for him. because he can't just assign himself the winner of every game and make his kill team. So, you know, here's one level 1 Nurgle warrior because probably the last one died or didn't get the double skills he needed. Here's some injured rotters. Here's a random +1 agility on his Claw Mighty Blow piling on Pestigore because he happened to roll it and he wasn't assigning himself skills, basically. So, I mean, you actually have to work for it to a degree. But this is why we recommend the Mr. Hadwick Invitational. Because here, you're going to see teams like, well, Yura's, which is going to have one of those kill pieces on it, but it's only one.
Well, I think it's going to be a while before I have a team of that high of value anyway.
You will. It's going to be a while. Like, those types of teams that are... Like, Yura's Rat team is 23 games in. So...
Habel will if you're a gutter runner, by the way, Spider.
Yeah. Habel will kill your stuff. But, like, that's about a 20-game team. My Camry are kind of up in that ballpark, too, and probably have about the same number of games played.
My High Elves are up there. I think they're 1620? 1680, something like that. But they did come over from Nag as well, so...
My Camry are 14.
Oh, yeah, they haven't played... I don't think they've played, have they, since I...
No, I haven't gotten to play a match since you, movement down the Throw-Ra.
I'm a bad person.
It's okay.
I don't even have any Mighty Blow on that team.
I know.
Didn't mean to hurt them.
It's alright. Still a good team.
I've had some really funny experiences though, like my necromantic team. Within the first 3 games, I've had a flesh golem die. Both my flesh golems die in that many teams, and I couldn't afford to buy them back.
Yeah, if things go horrifically wrong for you in your first game in MHI, like you're down to 700 TV and 2 of your Black Orcs died, just remake the team. I mean, don't be remaking your team if you lose your first game and one guy has a armor down or something, but if your team is like completely destroyed and is not going to be fun to play anymore, just start over again.
Yeah, if they're in halfling TV range and they're not halflings,
yeah,
it's acceptable.
Is that one of those things where it just kind of spirals around in the toilet kind of thing?
Like,
pretty much, you're playing with loners.
You can get those teams back up, but it's mostly not fun. Because, I mean, who wants to play the orc team with 2 black orcs on it? Nobody. Habel, don't tell me a story about a orc team with nothing but goblins on it or something.
Luckily he can't because they can only have 4 goblins.
Ooh. I can't ban him. Because I'm not in charge.
Here? Where's Amp? Amp, get here.
Oh wow, I'm flattered now. We got a bot.
Yeah, I got a bot in my actual stream for the first time a while ago. It was kind of nice. But yeah, unless anyone else has any more questions, I'm just gonna kill this so it's not too long for YouTube if I do end up putting it together. So, thanks for watching, everyone. I'll do more of these. Like I said, if you are a new person and you want to have one of these learning sessions, just hang out in the Steam chat and say something. And I'll talk with you about it. I mean, Slightquills will vouch for it. He's been talking to me about this for like a week, and we've been working this out here and there. I'll go ahead and turn on my nice Knorbowl specific stream loop. There we go. And since nothing else has popped up, I'm going to go ahead and finish this off. So, oh hey, Omar's gonna run his demo bowl match. So if you want to watch even more Blood Bowl, go there. Antagon, just hit me up in Steam chat sometime and we can work it out.
We'll work out a payment plan or something.
Right. And
Probably firstborn, soul, a couple 100k.
and if you want more demo bowl,
Low.
if you want more Blood Bowl in general, go to Omar's stream, which he linked. It's the link underneath the Born link. And that's it. So I'll just let this little loop run for a while and say thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.